Undercurrent, sponsored by John Hughes in Victoria Park. Choose your station before you choose your program. Absolutely.
Well, hello and welcome to a brand new week of Undercurrent. I'm Christy Molliker, and I must say all the team here at WTV certainly hope you're safe and well in the wake of those terrible storms here in Perth in the week just gone. Now, we do also hope that this week finds you with a spring in your step, or perhaps a few tango moves up your sleeve, or even a few cha-cha moves in mind, as just last week here at WTV we were lucky enough to be invited to the National Dancesport Championships. Chelsea Hopkins has the highlights.
Today we are at the 2012 Night of Stars National Dancesport Championships. And for those of us who don't know, what is dance sport?
Dance sport is basically ballroom dancing danced competitively. So it's broken up into three styles. We have our standard style, which is the ballroom, our Latin American style and New Vogue style.
What did it take to get this event to WA as a national championship?
Well, we've been going for 25 years this year as the Night of Stars, and last year after the success we were encouraged to put in a submission to Dancesport Australia to become a national event, and our submission was accepted and they've granted us national status. We ticked all the right boxes, and this is the very first national event for Western Australia, so we're very, very proud of that achievement. We've had an amazing turnout today, so we're very excited and very pleased with our work.
And what do you feel that this national championship will bring to Western Australian dance sport?
The recognition. Our competitors go east all the time to compete in the national events. They must do the circuit, and it's nice for the East Coast people and competitors to come over and see us. Competitors have such a high cost for travel that it's really nice for them to have an event in their home.
I'm here with Isabel and Harrison, the youngest competitors of the event. How old are you, Isabel? And how old are you, Harrison?
6.
What event did you just compete in?
Level 1 New Vogue Standard Latin.
And you won an award. What was that?
The trophy was for Latin.
Tell us a little bit about what goes into designing and choosing a costume for the different types of events.
Okay, well, first of all, we look at the particular dancer, their skin tones and things like that, what style they're doing, whether it's ballroom, New Vogue or Latin. And from my experience, I've been dancing since I was 10 years old. I kind of understand what works in certain halls and the colour of the floor, so you look for contrast and things that can stand out. And if you have a client who's who doesn't have that charisma on the floor, you can dress them to give them that kind of life through colour and things like that. And that stock can possibly be stock. You can't buy it off the shelf. It is designed purely for that person.
What dance was that, this one that you won this for?
Junior Open Ballroom. It's great. It's a national championship, so it's good.
Is this your first national championship that you've ever won?
No, we've won quite a few national championships actually, and and we just recently in Melbourne we won the Australian Championship. So this is a national championship, so we're just defending our title, which we just did, yeah.
And do you feel like all the hard work has paid off with this win?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
What did you win today, guys?
We won the overall youth championship across 3 styles. So over the 3 styles of standard, New Vogue and Latin, we got the best results out of all the couples combined. So yeah.
It feels quite emotional actually. It's the last time we'll probably be dancing here, so it's a bit emotional. Yeah, it's good though. Well, we've won the Australian Championships twice, won the state championships I think 5 or 6 times, so we've got to move on now.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's a really good event, and having it as a national this year just stepped it up that level from last year. So You know, there was a few extra competitors from the east side, so it was really good.
Everyone is agreement that the night was an outstanding success and that we saw some incredible performances from dancers all around Australia.
Turn up the collarbone, my favorite winter coat. This wind is blowing my mind. I see the kids in the street.
Well, there has been speculation for many years that the jewel in the crown here for us in Perth, our beautiful Swan River, might not be as healthy as we had all hoped, with increasing reports of fish dying. Emily Baker investigates.
High levels of the fish-killing algae found in the Swan River have been linked to over 1,400 fish deaths in the past couple of months. WA's chief scientist, Lynn Beasley, says the health of the Swan River is a priority for her. River Systems Manager Mark Cugley gives Undercurrent the lowdown on the algae situation.
From about May onwards, we've been monitoring an algal bloom called Carlodinium. That's been occurring in the upper reaches of the Swan River. We've been monitoring that and then we found that it was actually in densities that were quite concerning. Carlodinium has the ability to release toxins when the cells begin to destruct and it dies, and those toxins can reduce the ability of fish to draw oxygen from the water. We've had it in the Swan River before and we had it in May. Unfortunately, that's led to the death of about 2,500 fish. The Carlodinium algae that we were dealing with does naturally occur in southwest estuaries like the Swan River, so it's there in the background. Like much of the algal activity in the rivers, it's initially fueled by nutrients coming in, and that would have been the case again in the Upper Swan at the beginning of May. And then we had some very favourable conditions for this Carlodinium algae. The water temperatures dropped, we had lots of clear skies and lots of sunshine, and those conditions just found to be very favourable for this type of algal species. So then it really begins to grow exponentially, and then we have a bloom on our hands. And it was mainly the fish communities that we were concerned about. Dolphins being mammals and air breathing and mobile, they can avoid those areas that they might not find favourable. It won't affect the lower stretches of the estuary though. We know that the fish will also recover in time and move back into the Upper Swan, so we don't think it'll have a long-term impact on the health of the rivers. This Carlodinium really does impair, it actually, the toxins that are released from Carlodinium fix onto the gills of fish, and that limits their ability to draw that oxygen from the water column. So not directly, no, it's certainly not harmful to humans, it affects fish in that way. Look, in those areas as we've had in the Upper Swan over the last few weeks, we've had fish dying. It has been important for people to stay out of the river, not so much because of the toxins from this particular type of algae, but the bacteria that may be within the water, and with decomposing fish, it's just not a good place for people to be, or even to have their pets playing in the water, and certainly collecting dead fish for bait. One thing we did do with this bloom though, which was, we believe, quite effective, was increase the use of our oxygenation plants. They operate at Guildford Road Bridge and one further upstream at Caversham. What they do is draw water in from the river and mix it with liquid oxygen so that it's super saturated and holds a lot more oxygen than would naturally be occurring. And that helps not just fish, but also a lot of other aquatic life living on the riverbed that perhaps aren't as mobile as fish and can't just move in and out of an area depending on the levels of oxygen. Well, there's a number of things people can do. Certainly if they're down by the river picking up their rubbish and taking that home or putting it in a bin would be very good. Picking up after their pets as well, so that takes some nutrient loading directly out of the rivers, which would otherwise end up in the rivers in most cases. Around the home there's things they can do with reducing their fertiliser use, using phosphorus-free detergents as well, keeping their lawn clippings out of the drains. And then for those that want to become more active, they can also join our community engagement program, which is River Guardians, and they can come along, have opportunities to do hands-on work around the Swan Canning River Park, planting and restoring catchments, and also receive training about the river and its ecosystem. The real hard work and long-term work is by people in the catchments with us, and we can do what we can in the water when there's an immediate issue.
This is Emily Baker reporting for Undercurrent.
Well, in a recent survey, it was found that males are more likely to be involved in a car crash. But do you agree? Well, this week, Emily Baker took to the streets of Perth to find out.
New statistics released by WA's police are claiming that more males are dying on the road than females, and people are still not wearing their seatbelts whilst driving. Here's what Perth City had to say.
Being a young lad years ago, you think you're bulletproof.
Get a bit of cash, buy all these expensive cars and think they can go out and do whatever they want with them, you know what I mean?
Just showing off because I got a sports car.
They're just aggressive riders, basically, and yeah, we like to take chances. We like the exhilaration.
Probably because of the male ego. Like, most of my friends would go out and buy a car, whereas most of my female friends would have a car given to them.
You know, girls usually get smaller cars, not as powerful.
I think females are more sensible than males. I think probably the 18-year-olds to 25-year-olds are the ones that don't do it.
Even if they buy a car that is not souped up, they will buy extra parts for it.
My friends who have cars, they're interested in buying better engines, better rims, better seats, racing seats as well.
Like, I've got mates go out buy these $150,000 cars, really powerful, you know, no experience how to use them.
If you, with a 1500cc four-cylinder with no supercharger, put 4 idiots in it, and it becomes a gutless heap of shit which can't go fast enough to do any killing. And then if they do get fast enough to do any killing, they do a good job of killing themselves off so they can't go out and kill off other people.
I hate to admit, but I don't always wear a seatbelt, but with my friends, they're very dangerous drivers, so I choose to wear a seatbelt.
It's pretty dangerous, actually, not driving with a seatbelt, especially going fast speeds. Anything could happen, like a blown tire or something, yeah, so.
People don't realise how dangerous it is, like, to not wear their seatbelt. So they're like, oh, like, we'll just go down to the shops and, like, anything could happen in between, like, a second.
I don't know, some people just think, yeah, a seatbelt's not going to save you or whatever, but in the end, you know, even a small crash, you're going 30 k's an hour or something, it may just save you that little bit. You might hit your chest on the steering wheel, whatever.
Look, sometimes people forget when they jump in the car. When I go over to Indonesia or a different country, you don't have to wear seatbelts. You come over here. That's a small part of the reason. And other times people just absolutely probably a little bit lazy and forget.
I would wear a seatbelt all the time, yeah, so much safer.
There's no point. Like, I mean, why would you not wear a seatbelt? Like, there's no gain to be had from it.
Because it's stupid, really. That's why. I think I can't understand why they wouldn't wear it. It's law, but people think they're above the law too and nothing's going to happen to them. I just think they just don't realise. They should go to the hospitals and see what happens to people that don't wear seatbelts.
Seatbelts definitely help. I always wear one all the time.
Although WA's road toll has decreased this year, issues such as people not wearing a seatbelt and dangerous driving are still contributing to road fatalities. These issues need to be addressed in order to further decrease WA's road toll. This is Emily Baker reporting for Undercurrent.
Now don't forget, if you would like to share your opinion, you are always more than welcome. And you can find us in the city around about lunchtime every Tuesday. Now stay with us, more Undercurrent after the break.
Undercurrent, sponsored by John Hughes in Victoria Park. Choose your station before you choose your program. Absolutely.